Dr. Joshua Black joining me on Mommy Meltdown on Giant TV today. We were talking about the fact that you obviously are a researcher of grief dreams. I love that we came up with that terminology. And speaking of your podcast, you have a podcast called Grief Dreams. Is this a place that you talk about these dreams and you kind of dissect them, or how does that happen on your podcast?
Yeah, so when we started the podcast, the big thing with the research is you don't get that qualitative detail that I kind of want, which is not only the dream, but what led up to the dream, what are some of the characteristics in the dream that mean something to you, and also how does it make you feel afterwards. So the podcast was formed from that. So we talk about people's basically life journey and then their loss and then any dreams they've had. And we sort of talk about those dreams more or less at the end of the show. Yeah. And sometimes they're short dreams, other times they're long, or they have multiple dreams. And we sort of talk about that to get more information on how it's changed their life or how it's hindered their life or questions they have. And we'll talk about those questions.
Does that happen a lot where it can hinder your life? Do you get kind of stuck in it, or how does that happen?
Yeah, well, the hindrance there's a couple different ways, but we'll go with the negative dreams right now. Yeah. So if you're having dreams where the deceased is dying again, over and over again.
About that.
Yeah. So that's one big thing that can traumatize people.
Sure.
And the issue is people are afraid to go to bed because of having one of these dreams.
I can imagine.
And then with the sleep restriction, you're gonna have more dreams. So anyways, it's a horrible thing. Yeah. And people don't understand it. Other times the deceased may be chasing you or would be maybe trying to harm you in different ways.
Yes.
And all that, or putting guilt on you or something like that. Yeah. All that needs to be talked about, because some people that are spiritual may take it as a haunting. So it's a negative visitation, right? And so it's about really looking at that. And my research has shown that people have these negative dreams for two reasons. The one is they have basically post-traumatic symptomatology. Okay. Is one of the things. So that dying in a dream is very symbolic of that. Right. But also, if people have guilt or regret, or they're blaming someone, that negative energy is going to go into sort of understanding the dream imagery themselves, because dream research has shown that our dreams represent our waking life. So if you're going to be angry, if you're going to have guilt, you're probably going to have more negative dreams. Right. And so it just filters in, and the deceased is part of that. So it's not that they're visiting you negatively, it's that you're having a hard time dealing with some of the issues that are going on. And it's interesting where this stuff comes up, because I'll be just talking to someone, they share this dream that's very negative, and then I just say, are you having issues with such and such? And then they just start breaking down crying. They say yes. So it's not like a really hard thing. You just have to realize to connect it to your waking life. Yes. And that in our culture, we're not really trained at that.
Yeah, and you don't think to do that. Absolutely.
No, we just think, what a weird experience. Yeah. No, there's a lot of beauty in these dreams, even the negative dreams, that can help you on your journey that maybe you're just avoiding in waking life.
That's interesting. Yeah. My father-in-law recently passed away, and actually it was one of the reasons that I reached out to you. I came across your information because particularly my kids are having trouble dealing with his loss. So, I have been actually saying to them a little bit, like, maybe you should think about Papa before you go to bed, and maybe you'll have maybe you'll have a dream about Papa and some of your great times. Are kids more open to that, to having those dreams, or are they just on a whole other level and they just can't think about something of that nature, or how to use their brain in that kind of way?
Yeah, I love how you brought in kids, because a lot of people, when they talk about the subject, they forget that kids have these dreams, and they do. There's only been one study out there so far, and 55% of the children had a dream.
Really? 55%? That's pretty significant.
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah. And adults, the ones I've sort of sampled, they've been more. So like even with spousal loss, it was 86%. Wow. Pet loss, 51%. And prenatal was like 60%. Wow. So a lot of these sort of dreams are, in adults, you see them a lot. So kids also are having these dreams. And so really understand that these can actually worry them more than adults, because adults have a different sense of understanding about the world, about death. Right. Even their spirituality is a lot different. Right. With kids, they don't really know that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And they're still, if they're in like the age of like 2 to 7, they still don't understand that death is permanent yet. Yes. So like, think about having one of these dreams and the deceased is saying, I haven't really died. Yeah. You know, I'm just in hiding. And then what that could do for the child. Oh, did he really die? Yeah. Was it just all a sham? Or if the other big thing too is, the deceased is saying they love them, but what does that mean to them? Do they understand that this, like, how do they understand that? Yeah. And some of the children in that one study said that they understood it as the deceased was watching out for them, but that scared them.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, no, I'm totally messing it all up.
Well, I think the big thing when it comes to kids is just really seeing, are you dreaming about them? What are your thoughts on that? How do you feel when that happens? And talk to them about that.
Yes.
Because if they're afraid of being watched by like a soul per se, ask them why. Are they doing something that they're ashamed of? And the answer is probably yes, right? And so
more than like, if you know my kids, it definitely is yes, absolutely.
And so it's really reassuring them about what love is, who they are, and then they're not there to punish them, right? They're not there to tell on them or tattletale on them, or like they're there to just be a supportive person in their life still, as they move forward and grow. So that's why it's so important to ask children about these experiences, even sort of like they may be having negative ones. Yeah. And so really ask the question. If you ask the question, then most people will talk about it.
And I think that the resounding theme here is communication.
Yes.
Essentially, right? It's all about communication, whether you're 5 or you're 105. It's all about keeping that communication open and being forthcoming, because much like yourself, and much like I'm sure someone who's watching today, I very seldomly share my dreams when I do have them, even with my own, mom and siblings when they've been about my dad. So it's kind of nice that to know it can bring somebody comfort, including yourself. So I think that's a good thing for us to take away for today. Dr. Joshua Black, thanks so much for joining me today on Mommy Meltdown on Giant TV. Where can we find you? We want to check out your podcast.
Yeah, go to find Grief Dreams podcast anywhere you download podcasts. And then you can also go to my website, griefdreams.ca. And there's a lot of information for people who want to know more about the topic, just to find my contact information. And we have a bunch of other stuff on there, like our Instagram feed. So at Grief Dreams. I love Instagram.
Me too.
Do you?
I gotta get on.
Man,
I don't have Mommy Meltdown on Instagram.
You gotta put it on there.
I gotta put it on there right now. My brother just said that to me today. Where's your Instagram page? I have to get it on.
And if you want to know more about these dreams or share your own dreams, we have a Grief Dreams Facebook group.
Oh, fantastic.
There's like 1,000 members and people share their dreams all the time. So post them on there. We'd love to see what they are. And if you have any questions, we answer them there too.
Oh, that's fantastic. Dr. Joshua Black, thanks again for coming in. And thank you for joining us today on Mommy Meltdown. Remember, you can freak out. You just can't stress out because you had a mommy meltdown. No one's judging. Until next time.